The only way to get to the national park in Koh Lanta is by scooter. A tuk-tuk would cost you around 2,000 baht for a return trip. So I hired a scooter and I explored the island for the weekend. Arriving at the national park, it was breathtaking. It was really nice place, and it was one of the hottest days for a while. I think the temperatures hit about 38 degrees. I had a look around, found a beautiful beach that was almost deserted, and it's typical white sands. It's paradise. Right on the end of the beach is a lighthouse. We're right on the south coast of Lanta, and you can go up into the lighthouse, but where I don't particularly like heights, I thought I'd give that a miss. Coming off the beach, I found a little area where some monkeys were playing in some trees. If you can see right at the top centre of the screen, there's a monkey sat at the top of the tree. There was also about 3 or 4 running around behind the tree, but they were too far away. Every time I tried to get them in shot, they ran off. You can just about see them in the distance. I was quite lucky because these monkeys are known for stealing your camera. I got out with mine safely. All around the park is a beautiful green lake that was teeming with wildlife. In this one there was a few monkeys playing, but they're a little bit out of shot. Now at the end of the beach there was a sign saying, "Hike this way." Now I've heard the hike was a reasonable length. I was under the assumption it was maybe a 20-minute walk, but I soon found out after an hour I was only about halfway round. It was a brilliant hike and I enjoyed it, but I didn't know how long it was or where the exit was. This wouldn't have been a bad thing, but I had half a bottle of water left and a small bottle of water, and the temperatures got to the point where I was drenched in sweat within 10 minutes of hitting the trail. Unfortunately, I had my GoPro in the super suit, so it wasn't picking up what I was saying, so I will give a voiceover commentary instead. All around you could hear monkeys screeching, you could hear the bushes moving. It was teeming with wildlife, and I didn't see anything, but I knew it was there and I knew things were watching me. There was branches across the dodgy path everywhere, and I had to keep veering off the path to try and keep going. But unfortunately the path was falling down and there was a sheer drop one side most of the time. I think I just found a monkey there. This is a classic example of why the path is dodgy. A whole part of this is missing, so the only way around is to get off the path and walk around. Luckily enough, it wasn't too dramatic. What I enjoyed about this walk the most was I was on my own. There was no other humans around, and it was deadly silent. When you stop, the jungle wasn't silent. It was teeming with life, and birds were tweeting, animals calling out. It was fascinating just to stand and listen to the surroundings. The only thing that I didn't like was the heat. It was getting ridiculously hotter and hotter the more I moved. It was mostly uphill, and walking in this temperature is not easy at the best of times. Lucky enough I was shaded by the trees, but it didn't stop me from being constantly out of breath and becoming more and more concerned that I didn't have enough water with me. The path wasn't exactly wide, and there was often trees growing out the middle of the path. And no railings. Why don't people have railings in Thailand? I don't understand. As I said, I don't really like heights, and things like that was a little bit difficult. At this point I must have been about halfway round, and I was hoping the exit was any second. I've never sweated so much in my life. My t-shirt was just drenched and there was no signs of it letting up. Here I'm actually saying I can imagine my GoPro being found in 70 years' time next to a skeleton holding an empty bottle of water. The trail continued. I wasn't sure how far I was along. At this point I thought about turning back, but I knew it was at least an hour back to the beach where I left. So I thought the exit could be just up here, so I kept pushing on. Some really strange looking trees I found. This is one of them. And I found it, the exit to the park. It was just next to the tree I was looking at. I didn't even notice it was there. The only problem with it came out right at the beginning of the park, which was about a 2-mile walk to where I left my scooter. My ride on the scooter wasn't cooling me down at all. The wind is really, really warm, so I stopped off at Bamboo Bay for 4 cold drinks and a 2-litre bottle of water before I continued my hour ride home.